This past weekend, I saw the movie Monuments Men, which is awesome if you guys haven't seen it yet. It tells the true story of this American Army Special Forces unit that went into Germany in late 1944 into 1945 and recovered thousands of pieces of art that the Nazis had stolen from all over Europe. And works by Michelangelo and Da Vinci and all kinds of awesome pieces of art from churches and museums everywhere. And when asked by the American Army leaders of the gentleman by the name of Frank Stokes, played by George Clooney in the movie, they're like, Frank, why should we care about this? He says, look, art is a reflection of the history of a country and what they've created. And you take away their history, it just takes away the heritage of a nation. It takes away who they are. And it also discounts all the work that the artists did. It makes it like they never existed, like their entire time on Earth was just dust and gone. And I was like, ooh, that's really, really good. And I got to thinking about myself, how I just love and appreciate so many forms of art. I mean, I love the canvas art and paintings. I love Da Vinci. I love Salvador Dali. I love their work. It's incredible. And to think that some of that could have been destroyed forever is just horrendous. But I love film. I love, so many things. Photography. But my all-time favorite artistic method of expression is music and songwriting. And that's why I'm standing here by my CD collection. I have an entire bookshelf in my room that's all just CDs. You can tell here, all the way down, up the top. And I thought about how this here, my CD collection, is kind of like a collection of history of Christian rock, especially since that's my specialty. And I thought I'd share with you a couple of probably my most treasured albums. First one here, I found this in a Christian book outlet store about an hour south of where I live here in Northeast Ohio, somewhere around, I want to say like 2006. This here is the inaugural release by What Records. It was a small little label that was started by this gentleman here, Tony O'Kay, one of my other heroes, Mark Hurd, who I'm going to talk about a little more here in a minute, T-Bone Burnett, who went on to produce some great works, stuff by the Counting Crows, August and Everything After. He did the Crazy Heart soundtrack. He wrote a lot of the songs for Crazy Heart. Very, very decorated producer. But back then he was just starting this little label. And this here is an original pressing, What Records. Look at the back here. Right there. What Records. This, I think, is probably worth something. It's kind of rare. There were not many made. How this outlet store came to have it, I have no idea. It must have come out of a warehouse somewhere. But when I saw it, I remember just snatching it up going, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Because this has been reissued by Gadfly Records back in like 2003, I want to say. But an original What Records pressing? Whoa! Especially since 1986. CDs weren't even the rad yet then, you know? And then here, guy I was just speaking of, Mark Hurd. This album right here had the biggest impact on me in high school. You can actually read one of my blogs I wrote about it in the summer of 2012, which was the 20th anniversary of Mark Hurd's death. This album, Satellite Sky by Mark Hurd, is an original Fingerprint Records, right there, Fingerprint Records pressed album from 1992. Fingerprint Records was Mark Hurd's own label. He was the only one on it, other than the Vigilantes of Love, who he signed in like late 1991, so not long before he died. Bought this on Amazon about 2 to 3 years ago. An original Fingerprint pressing. I paid a little bit more than I would for most CDs, but the fact that I can say I actually own this is amazing. The album influenced my Christianity tremendously. It's basically a look at Ecclesiastes from just a man who understands that life is fleeting, and apart from Christ is ultimately meaningless. And he understood just the weight of that profoundly. He understood there was something wrong with the world, and he wrote about that. And at the end, he wrote a song called Treasure of the Broken Land that just ultimately points us to the fact that Christ one day is going to make all things new. And that, heaven is going to be amazing. So, that is what's on my mind tonight. Hope you enjoyed it.